You have heard my ruling. I have asked the NGO speaker to focus on the issue under discussion. If the Council agrees, I suggest we move on and we listen to next speaker. I see no objections. We will watch China Society for Human Rights Studies, and we will watch a video message.
Mr. President, my name is Bochao YANG, an assistant professor at China University of Political Science and Law, presenting today on behalf of China Society for Human Rights Studies. The Chinese government has always prioritized the fight against trafficking of women, children, and other vulnerable groups in its efforts to combat human trafficking, and has made endeavour to strengthen efforts to protect children and women of migrant workers from sexual exploitation and abuse, and ensure that legislation relating to sexual abuse and exploitation is effectively enforced. In accordance with constitutional law, China has enacted.
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, interpretation cannot be provided for this statement.
Other laws, regulations, and the decisions lying a relatively sound legal foundation for combating human trafficking and protecting the rights and interests of victims, especially the legitimate rights and interests of women and children. China has always formulated an action plan for international cooperation to combat human trafficking and will set concrete targets of the measures for the global fight against transnational human trafficking and assigns different responsibilities to different departments. China has signed intergovernmental and anti-trafficking agreements with many countries. Meanwhile, the Chinese government cooperates closely with UN agencies to combat human trafficking and violence against women and children. China's cooperation with the international community in the fight against human trafficking is reflected not only in its efforts to undertake global treaty obligations, but also in a series of bilateral and multilateral cooperation programs and concrete actions it has carried out. Unfortunately, some countries, such as the United States, deliberately ignore China's progress in fight against human trafficking, while issuing trafficking in person report with information based on hearsay and illogical.